Hello, I'm Maggie Steber, National Geographic photographer and Guggenheim Fellow. I'm a storyteller and I use a camera to tell my stories. And a lot of people, especially younger photographers starting out, ask me, how do you find a good story? First of all, what are you interested in? And if you have an interest, start to research that. And I look in newspapers, I read magazines. I'm very interested in a lot of things. I listen to the news, I look at the news on television. Um, I'm always having my ear to the ground about things. I will talk to people. I will look at photographic books because every story has been told, and there's a lot of stories that have been told, but we can tell them in a new way, a more contemporary way, a different way. And so many issues change that there's always going to be a new story. Whatever you are wanting to do in terms of storytelling, you have to ask yourself, first of all, why do I want to do this story? Is it an important story? Has it been done too many times? How can I find a different way to do it? Do I have to get on a plane and go someplace far away? Or maybe the story is on the street where I live, if I pay attention. And I think a lot of this comes down to paying attention, that sometimes we think if we're going to be storytellers, we have to go do these big, big, big stories. But sometimes the small stories are really the most beautiful, most powerful things. And there's different ways to tell stories as well. Like some stories have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Other stories could be a wide open essay. Let's say that you wanted to do a series of stories that added up to a much larger issue. So let's say that you went on your neighborhood and you asked every family if you could photograph how they use water on a daily basis. And not everybody's going to say yes, but hopefully some will. And if you think about it, you get up, you brush your teeth, you take a shower, you use water to cook, then you go out and you water the plants, you wash your car, you wash the dog, you wash the clothes, and maybe you even wash your courtyard, something like that. Then later you have to give the kids a bath, and then maybe you use water to, I don't know what, to wash the dishes, something like that. Anyway, so if you did that with 5 different families in your neighborhood, that's a story. It's a daily story that adds up to how people use water, and that is connected to the much larger idea of water. Because right now, water is a huge subject. We're looking at rising sea levels. We're looking at people who do not have water. We look at how Americans, sadly, waste a lot of water. And where there is water around us, you could even go out and look at all of the different places where water is right in front of you. Like I live in Miami, so I can go to the beach and there's water there. But it's not just that. Or I could spend the whole day at the beach and photograph people swimming. That's another way that people use water. So that's one way to do it. You can also do an open-ended essay. A lot of people like to street shoot. So I think that's pretty interesting, but it's also helpful if you have a theme and an idea about what you're looking for when you go out. And those street shots can also add up to a story. It all depends on how you approach it. But I think finding a story by listening to the news, reading magazines. There's some great magazines in which you can find stories, and even though they've been written about, it doesn't mean that they've been done. So I've found a lot of stories that way. And also just to be interested in things outside of yourself. Like I'm not a big rock music fan. It's just not my cup of tea. But what's interesting to me about it are the people who go to see these concerts. And that interests me. And to me, that's a story. But I think also you can find stories um, in your own family. And sometimes, actually, you have your own story to tell. I think right now we're in this pandemic, and a lot of people have been photographing themselves being quarantined at home, or their families, or They even go to photograph the issue of food. How are people getting food if they don't have money to buy it? These food giveaways, going to farms where the food is being given away free. There's lots of stories if you pay attention. There's lots of stories. But your job is to find them. So they're all around us. You just have to open your eyes and listen and talk to people and ask people, what do you think a good story would be for me to do right now? It's just like being a detective, and it's that simple.